Each project I've been on, I mean, it takes a team. It definitely takes a village to do a school project of one of any size for sure. That's what we're here for.
I'm Bob Collins. I work with OTEC. I'm the Client Services Manager. I'm managing K-12 bond projects.
I'm Sarah Oakes. I'm the Director of Project and Construction Management here at OTAC.
I'm Sean Stolzer. I'm a Program Manager at OTAC. I manage K-12 bond programs.
I'm Brian Hardebeck. I'm a Client Services Manager here at OTAC and primarily in the K-12 and higher education market sector.
Many people don't realize that, particularly in Oregon, school districts to do any kind of major capital construction need to raise money through a bond. It doesn't come from the state funding of that they normally get for day-to-day expenses. And so the bond program captures major capital improvements, investments, renovations.
Every bond is different. Some bonds are one school and some bonds are 30 schools. In general, the more projects you would have, then I would say the more phases or waves you need to have, because it's really not practical to be working on every school at the exact same time.
What we do is it's all for the kids. That's what we're here to improve their environment and allow the educators and the district leadership to concentrate on what they do best, educate, and let us help that heavy lift for them.
A lot of schools have facility staff, and oftentimes they can do project management. But as you said, they have day jobs that they've got to keep up with, kind of a heavy workload. And so, whether it's for just that period of time where the bond is in passage, or if there's a particular complexity that maybe those facility folks don't have experience with, I think that's where we have a real value add to kind of come alongside whatever resources the district has.
A lot of our service can start in pre-bond management of assisting the client and really understanding what their needs are, working alongside with an architecture or design team to do some pre-bond and public engagement with the voters to help the district assure they'll have a good, strong message out there and that the voters have the public engagement that they need to understand what they're going to pay for.
Oftentimes I'll work with school districts to develop their district standards. And district standards help design teams, meet the needs and the priorities of the district, so you don't overshoot in what you build. Frequently we'll identify, tiers of priorities. Those are a few ways that we just return the best investment back on the taxpayer money.
One of our major roles is the master communicator and facilitators for the district and to the voters. We take on sometimes very public, outward-facing view for the client to really actively listen to them, take their feedback, and communicate that to the district and help them facilitate the decision-making process that includes voter input into the prioritization of projects, but also encompass the what's in it for me question from the voter.
I think that one of our biggest roles is we are identifying risk to the project and then communicating them. And in doing so, that I think develops trust with all those folks.
Other things we do, I think, particularly engagement, is making sure that districts have a citizens oversight committee set up too, to kind of put eyes and ears on the process.
I've worked with clients with, acquiring properties, dealing with entitlements, dealing with development codes. One interesting thing about, I think, in our business is every project is unique. It's always a new team, new entities or people coming together for the first time.
One of the things we found to be very important to help develop a team from the beginning before there is really a team is chartering, is putting that out there so that there really is expectation setting from the get-go at the highest level. So there's an opportunity to try to have members on your team that you feel have the same vision and passion about doing the work. And then again, being transparent, always communication. You can't communicate enough.
to not overstate the importance of communications, I think a fundamental agreement for that is trust, right? And I'm glad you mentioned chartering. I mean, that's such an important thing to kind of get up everyone's different goals on the table and figure out how those are going to get woven together.
I think for me, being a coastal region client service manager, I think one thing that I'm involved with more than probably inland groups is coastal resiliency and how to deal with rising water levels, earthquake preparedness and resiliency for post-incident occupation of the new school or a school building or a public facility in this case. Where is it located? That all plays into the planning involved in a bond program for coastal districts and coastal clients.
You know, a lot of school districts, you know, maybe they pass a bond every 10 years or, you know, every 20 years. Maybe it's more often every 5 years. But, you know, the bond runs its course, and then the school district's not in the business of building things, I'm in the business of education. But we're out serving other school districts and staying sharp, keeping up with technology and changes.
I would like to say that we're experts in uncertainty, right? Of figuring out how we're going to face it, how we're going to bring a team through it, how we're going to make decisions to come out on the other side of it. So like oftentimes we're building spaces where, you know, they aren't able to teach that because they don't have space for it yet. And so sometimes it's coming alongside educators as they're putting together curriculum and we're designing the space at the same time. And so I think it's really figuring out not just how to build a building, but how to build a building to be used immediately and then for generations. You know, that I think is something you have to really have a good crystal ball or a good sense of it.
This industry is very personal to me. I'm a product of a career and technical education class in high school. I just recently worked for a bond client, rural client on the Oregon coast, who saw the need to expand their career and technical education offerings, built a new CTE laboratory building for them. And I think at the end of that, we used the building as an educational process. The kids that were already in their CTE programs had an exploratory program to bring in kids that really hadn't thought of what their careers are. They hadn't figured out their why yet, right? But something caught them. And to see that engagement from the students and something that lit up their why was fascinating to me. And it was great to see.
I think one of the most gratifying moments that I've had just in this particular line of work is I've had an opportunity to work and participate in ACE Mentors, which is an after-school program for high school students that are looking to explore careers in architecture, engineering, or construction. And I've now been in this field long enough that some of these students actually had gone through programs at a school that I worked on and had caught the bug, got interested in this line of work because they were able to work in one of the construction labs or in the STEM space of this school that hadn't existed before we worked on this project. And so it was very cool just that they are now getting exposed to different, hands-on project-based learning opportunities, career paths that are now kind of bringing them into this industry. So that felt very full circle for me, and just very, very exciting just to hear how much they were enjoying those spaces. I really appreciated that.
Along the lines of what Sarah mentioned, managing teams of other OTAC project managers and seeing their growth, that's been a lot of fun. We were asked to build essentially 4 schools, get them all done at the same substantial completion time. Everybody in the industry in our office said that's ridiculous. There's no way that could really be done. We did get it done on time and under budget. We actually have money left. So that was a really big feather in my cap, finishing that one.
Something really rewarding for me is opening up an elementary school. And it's almost because you've got this community ready to go to come together. And that's always just really rewarding to watch that happen. We opened a school, Beatrice Morrow Kennedy Elementary School in Clackamas County a while back. And, I just was really fortunate with a fantastic team. I mean, well under budget, ahead of schedule. Everything was ready when they wanted to move in the summer. And people were exuberant. It just felt like there was something in the air where everything came together. You could just see this community developing. That was just a really cool moment for me.
The school building needs to be more than just a school building. It needs to be a community asset. It's a community center. It is all for the kids, but it's also for the community.